Okay, in this step we're gonna remove the pieces away from the tree, and to do this we use side cutters. In this case, this side cutter made by Tamiya, but you can use any brand. It's up to you to choose which one you want to use. And this is a very simple, straightforward step, nothing to worry about, but still there are some things that you need to take into consideration to avoid other problems. Okay, and that is, please, when you're gonna cut, make sure to not cut it really close to the piece like this. No, cut it away from the piece, at least 2 millimeters away from the piece. That will be like 1/8 of an inch away from the piece. Okay, so like that. See, and the reason we do this is because we want to avoid any white marks into the piece, and that is caused because if you cut really close to the piece you will cause something that's called plastic deformation, and that's you want to avoid. So that's why I recommend cutting away from the piece. Okay, so we have something like this. Got some extra plastic here where the nuts was, and you see we don't have any white marks into the actual plastic. Okay, so that's a good thing. Okay, now second, to remove the excess plastic we can use a couple of tools to do so. Okay, in this case I have this hobby knife made by Olfa, but you can also use your X-Acto knives like this one, a 45 angle blade, a 30-degree angle blade, also a hobby knife, but it's up to you to decide which tool you feel more comfortable working with. In my case, I prefer the hobby knife because I can have a better grip, like you can see, and I feel more comfortable working with this tool. Okay, but still the other ones are really good as well, and they'll be used later on. So if you can afford to get one hobby knife and the blades, I'll recommend getting one. Okay, now second thing or second tip that I want to mention is that to avoid those white marks that a lot of people have problems with is when you're going to remove the excess plastic. I see that a lot of people do this. When they cleaning, they tend to take it, the blade or hobby knife, and do this, push like this, cut and pull like this. See, and that's a problem because you're actually use brute force to actually remove the plastic when you should be using shear force to do that. To do that, what I recommend is push it, but at the same time push it like this. See, like this. That way it will be actually the edge of the blade what is doing the cutting and not the brute force. So I'd say like that. Practice and then you will get more comfortable doing that. Okay, also when you're gonna clean it, don't do it from one side, do it a little bit at a time. Do it like this, like that. You know, it takes a lot of time, but it will save you some extra work later on, like trying to fill the gaps that you will find there, or you will have to use extra paint to actually to cover up the white mark. Okay, I'm checking my time here into this piece so I to show you. But once you get the practice, you will do it really fast. Now, to what I have mentioned, it's really important for those people who are going to do straight builds of build out of the box. Since you are not planning to use paint, you really need to take in consideration what I have mentioned. See, even if I try my best to not leave the marks, you see, we still get some little white, but it's not like the white that people have complained where they have white all around this area, you see. So like I said, do it the way that I told you and you will avoid those problems. Now let's move on to the next tip that I want to mention, and especially for those of you who are planning to paint your kits, this is something that you need to take care of. Okay, let me show you. See, some pieces, and most of the pieces have some seam lines, you see, like this one. So to remove that, I recommend use your knife, and that's the reason why I like this blade. See, check like that, clean it. Maybe you can see it here as well. We have some little mark left from when they actually molded the piece. So again, okay, now, okay, we also have a little bit over here. Maybe you can see. If you cannot, I'll show you later on into the actual tree. Okay. Okay, so that will save you a little bit of extra work later on. Okay, now for you who didn't get what I'm trying to say is, take your runners and you see around here there is a line that is right in the middle. Okay, so you see, this is because when they make the molds, remember they make the molds in two sections like that, right? And the pieces get molded in between, but you see there is this line, and no matter how good you are, how good the technology is in making molds, they still gonna have this little, see, this little like line, and that will also left into the actual plastic pieces. So when you're trying to paint your kits, you have to remove that. So how you do that? You can use your knife, and I'll recommend practicing first. Take your tree, okay, check your blade, and first, if you don't have experience, don't do this like that straight. Do it like this, bend it in like an angle, like a 45 angle, you see. Okay, then lightly, like you were shaving something. When you're gonna shave something, like you say, if you are a guy, you don't press the knife like that, right? You lightly, and then do one motion. Since this is round, like that. Okay, and that's how you do it. Okay, how you clean it. Now you can also do it with your hobby knife, X-Acto knife. See, do it lightly, don't do it don't push too hard to it. So like that, okay. And same goes with your 45 angle plate. But I would recommend using the 30 degrees or a hobby knife like this, okay. So that's why you should take care into this first step, okay. So we'll proceed to the next step. Now in this second step it's gluing, okay, especially in high grades and in older master grades, and still into even in the new ones you still have to use some glue, okay. Like for example, this is the crest for the Tolgis, and this is one piece, but you see they made it actually in two pieces, okay. So what we do is, okay, first let's remove this, even though it will not get into the weight, okay. There are several types of glues you can use, okay. You can use Tamiya extra thin cement, you can use Mr. Color cement, another brand of Tamiya cement. This is a really thick one, and there is even a heavy duty type of glue, this one, Tamiya cement, okay. Its uses can be different from certain words. This is especially made for when you do scratch building, and the same goes for this. If we put into grades, you can see this is 100, this is 200, 300, okay. This is being rougher, medium, and light, okay. Tamiya, Mr. Color, they have also different kind of soft glue, but I would recommend using this Tamiya extra thin cement. It's easy to work, and I prefer that, okay. Now how to do this? There are several types, several ways to do it, but the way that I prefer to do it is where I put the piece a little bit together, leave it a little close, like I say. For you who knows measurements, I will say I will leave 3/1000 of an inch. That will be the length of your hair. How thick is your hair? 3/1000 of an inch. Okay, so have like this, and you pour it. You see, you don't actually rub it with cement the whole way, just in 2 points. See, I forgot the name, how it's called, when you see put this, and actually the glue just slips into the whole joint, okay. Now make sure not to get the glue into your fingers. If you do that, you will have to spend extra time with the sandpaper cleaning whether actually your fingers touch it with the glue, okay. Okay, okay, over here I need a little bit more of glue, okay. This is a little bit complicated, okay. This piece I'm having trouble, okay. Now my recommendation is wait a little bit, no, don't press it right away, give it a time so the glue can actually melt the plastic in both sides. And if you want to give you how much you have to wait for at least 30 seconds. Okay, you can count 1, 2, 3. Okay, when you found you have to wait it, you can press, and you see when you press onto it, you'll see how the glue actually squishes out of the joints. That's what you want. Okay, now if you see some place that it's not, the glue is not squishing out, so you should add a little bit more glue. Okay, that's all. Do it. Okay, now let me show you with other pieces. Okay, now when you are building high grade Universal Century, high grade for any series such as WO, Seed, AG, and older high grades as well, older master grades, like I mentioned before, you will get pieces that need to be glued. And as look, you can see pieces like this, such as this, the bazooka for the high grade Universal Century new Gundam. And this is the bazooka. And you need to glue it because it would not look alright painting it and having this same line, right? So what I recommend you doing is, and also for any piece that it's a larger piece such as this, okay, take your knife, 3-degree angle knife, and bore the holes all of them. Just careful with your fingers. Even this. Okay. Now you can also use a pin bicep like this one, but you need to get these ones. It's actually to be a little bigger than the actual holes, right? And that's a little bit problem going through the process of knowing which number to get. So I prefer using this. So if you can get one of these, this is made by Tamiya, pin bicep, and if you can get some drill bits, and you can do it as well. I recommend getting the ones made for wood, dried wood, and steel is also wood. I don't recommend getting the ones made for concrete. Okay. Now, what you want exactly by doing that is to make sure that the piece goes, can be connected easily. As you can see, there is still the boarding more. Why I do this, you will be asking. And the reason is that way you can apply the glue better, or to be more exactly, I need the pieces to be really close. You see, sometimes the pegs don't allow the piece to go all the way, so I'll recommend boring the pieces. You might have seen other videos, other modelers doing that, and to be honest, it's a really nice trick. It will help you a lot when you have to deal with pieces that are really large like this. See where you have a big seam line, and now if you are worried about that the piece may separate later on. You can put some glue over here once you're going to glue it together. See over here, you can go easily. Over here, for some reason it's not doing so well. You can also do the next thing. Taking your knife, you can also shape the peg. In some magazines, in other videos, the models recommend shaping like this, that a lot, and you can do that also as well. I prefer to do this so it can hold, the pieces can be held, but you can try it. Get a high grade and try it. So even if you damage the peg, you're gonna use glue, so it's not gonna be a big deal. Okay. So see, now that's what we want. See, okay. You can fit. You can work. You can play with the seam line. You see, you can make bigger. You can make it smaller. But that's what you want. See, it's separates easily. Okay, I got this piece. Goes here. This one is already pre-painted since this is a different color. I will be covering with tape later on. So ready. Okay, now, like I said before, in this case, you need to try to leave a little gap, a little bit as possible. Like I said before, your hair measures 3/1000 of an inch. Okay, so what I am asking you to leave it's around 1.5 thousand of an inch. Okay, so I will say half the thickness of your hair. Okay, you can work in one side at a time. So then take the glue, and I still don't remember the name of this effect when you put the glue over here and actually the glue slips through the whole thing. That's the way I glue it. There are some other ways to do it, but this is the way that I prefer. It's not too messy. It is really simple, and you can actually control what exactly you are trying to glue. Like I say, make it the gap really close so the glue can get on both sides of the both pieces. And that, I remember I told you, let it wait a little bit, 30 seconds at least, and meanwhile work on the other side. Remember not to get your fingers with glue. And this section is not gonna show because other pieces gonna connect, so you don't need actually to put glue over there. So let's take it like this and put it so. Okay, like that. A little bit over here. Now going back over here, it seems a little neat. So you need to check always that there is enough glue. Okay, over here it is about time we close pieces. There is some places still need a little bit. Okay, check everything. It seems glue. Oh, look over here. You need also to put a little bit of glue over here. This is gonna be showing as well. Okay, now over here I believe it's more than just 30 seconds already went by it. Okay, so press. You see what happened? See, that's what you want to happen. You see, now in the other side as well, since a little bit of time already went by it, see, this is what you get. And that means that the plastic is melting each other when you see it squish like that. Okay, now you don't need actually glue, but if there is some place that didn't squish and glue, you need to add it a little bit, and that's it. That's how I do the gluing part. This is moving. Yeah. Okay. Now, unfortunately, this takes time to dry up the glue. I recommend you doing this first. You see, when you're going preparing the parts, prepare first the parts that need to be glued. I recommend leaving this overnight, or at least wait 5 or 6 hours. I will say 6 hours. The longer it takes, it will be better. So that's it for the gluing. So we'll proceed to the next step. Okay. Now for this step, we'll be using Tamiya finishing abrasives of sandpaper, and I'm recommending getting you this set. It provides you with different grades, actually 3 grades: 400, 600, and 1000, and they are perfect for building gunpla. Now you'll be also needing a sanding pad like this. Oh, some people call it sanding blocks, and also this one, an eraser. This is a soft type. Get a good one of these erasers. This is a cheap one, so I recommend get a good one. Okay, they're not expensive. And for this one, and I believe some people may not have this part separator, which is actually really good for sanding, but I'll recommend getting something like this. The point is you need to be really strong. Like this, is that it will not bend easily. This is really strong, so it will not bend. Okay, so you can buy some styrene sheets, black plate, the ones 2-inch egg, 2mm thick, 2.5 thick. That will be, then you can make it your own sanding blocks, sanding pads. Now, here's a tip that I want to give you. Okay, when you are using sandpaper, cut it like this. Okay, I cut it 1 inch by 2 inches or 3 inches. 2.5 inches is fine. And the reason why I do this is so that way you don't waste too much sandpaper, and it's really easy for sanding down. You see, just take it and sand it. That, you see, it's really practical. Like I say, you don't waste too much sandpaper. Okay, second thing, even though 400 is really good, sometimes I found that it's too rough and we leave too much scratches, and you need to expend an extra time with the 600 or even with the 1000 grit trying to remove some scratches. So what I recommend is doing a second grit of the 400, what I call it 400 soft. To do this is get a second piece like this and sand it against each other. Spend like 10 seconds. Don't press it too hard, softly doing it, and then you get what I call 400 soft. And do it for the 600 grit as well. Do it, and you will get the 600 soft. And use these soft versions of the 400 and 600 to actually do it. That way you will don't waste too much time trying to sand down the scratches. You will need to use even a third grade, maybe 800 or 1000 to remove the scratches. But if you use what I show you, doing the soft versions of them, it will save some time. Okay. Now, to the actual process. Okay, take your 400. Remember, this is the 400 sub that I actually did, and use first this one, the one with the strong surface. And the reason is this will take down any imperfection or any bump. Here you see that, like the ones left by the tree, what they were connected. And by doing this also, you will get an even surface. If you do it, like you may have seen some videos that people just take the sandpaper in with their fingers, do it. Okay, you will have a problem that, let's say, let me show you over here. I have this. Okay, you see this one. Okay, you see, if you do it with your finger, you see it actually goes like that. You see, it creates like moving a bump, you see, a bump. Even if you spend a lot of time, you're gonna get left with a bump, and that's not what you want. So by using this, you will actually begin sending down until this also began sending on this section and this section, so you will get an even surface. That's the reason you use this and don't use your fingers. Okay, even if it is for a round surface like this, what you do is you do it and send it down like this, so you get an even surface, but still using this hard part. Okay, now going back to the piece we were working with. Now this takes time because you have to go through to each piece, so it's really time consuming. But since you are committed on painting your kit, you should expect something like this, that you need to expend time in preparing the kit. Now once you got this even, take your 600 and we have other 600 over here. Okay, it's already used 600. You see, since I already used this one, I prefer using these ones, the old ones, not the new ones, since they are more soft. The more you use, they'll get more soft, but that's fine. Then you use with the soft pad. You see, this point, this will remove any scratches left by the strong pad, sanding pad. Now, many modelers also use sanding sticks. You can use that as well, but I recommend doing this since these are more practical. See, once you have done using this, the 400 with the strong sanding pad, then you can use your finger and do this. Then you're more welcome to use this. You see, now, see, that's what you are left with. Okay, you see, you don't leave any scratches, as you may have seen in some videos, some magazines. And let me tell you something: if you are not planning on build and painting your kits, you're planning to do a straight build, but still you want to get rid of this knob of the excess plastic, do this. You see, you cannot see it, but let me give you one more tip. You take a piece of your jeans, yes, your jeans, Levi's, and just rub it against it, right? Rub it like I'm doing right now. I cannot show you since I'm wearing my jeans, but rub it against really hard, and that will buffet the piece, and you will be left with something. You see, for example, over here, you see the, like, you see how it's shining? That's because I buffed it with my jeans. and if you're not planning to do in painting your kids, this will really help. Take your jeans and send it and rub it, like if you're sanding, and if you're wearing your jeans, just rub it a piece against your jeans. That's how you get it shiny. Okay, and this is for sanding. Now, this process you can use it for pieces that are not glued, since the pieces that are glued need the same process, but in that case you will also need to use something like this that also will help you. Okay, for example, remember this piece? This piece still needs to dry, but okay, let me give you how you will have to go about pieces that glue. Okay, you can first go with your knife like this, do like I showed you before, but you will only do that once at least 5 hours have gone by since you glue it. If you do it wrong, like I did it like 30 minutes after I glue it, the glue is going to actually peel off, so you don't want that. Now you can also use a file. Okay, now this file is made by Nicholson. It's a number 5, and this is actually made for piping. So you can go to your hardware store and get one. They are not too expensive. I believe this costs around $12. I believe there are some other that are cheap as well, but I recommend getting this one. And the reason why I recommend this one, because you see you can hold it well, can get a good grip on it, and also because this one, it will not bend. Okay, so practice first. If you don't have experience using these tools, I always recommend practice first. You see this now I'm gonna show how you need to do. Now the thing that you don't need to do is do something like this, go back and forwards. No, that's not the way to do it. Okay, first let me shape it up a little bit of this so I can show you how exactly I go about this. I want to this to be even with this, right? So try, okay, then you check your file, and this is the way you do it. Okay, you see, you check it and push it in one motion. Okay, now second thing, like I said before with the knife, don't do like that. No, do it in angle, trying to cover as much as possible with the file. Like as you see, I'm going 45. See, it's covering a lot of, compared to this and compared to this. See, then you go. That way you will avoid getting uneven surfaces. Practice, like I say, if you don't have the experience, practice first. Okay, see, like that. That's the way you do it. Okay. Then for your actual piece, will go like that. See, like that. But this still needs to dry a little bit more. But that's the way you should proceed with pieces that are actually glue. I'd recommend using this. Or also, if you don't have this kind of tool and you don't want to get one, then I'll recommend you use a strong grade like 220 or 320. And then also for this, like this, and then you remove. If you go with the 400, it will take you a lot of time trying to remove, while if you use a 220 in pieces that are actually glue, then it will take a little time. And in this case, you don't need actually to do a 220 or 320 soft. Just take the straight 220 and send it down, and then use the 400, 600, and if you are not planning on painting, rub it against your jeans and you got your piece glued together, looking great. Now another thing, let me show you. Now, okay, when you're building gunpla, gluing and sanding takes the most of time actually, and it's really tiresome, stressful, and a lot of people don't want to paint their kits because sanding the pieces takes a lot of time, and over time it gets bothersome. Okay, so okay, to do this you have the option sometimes no sending down all the parts. For example, this is the frame for the Master Crane new Gundam version card, right? For example, you see over here are actually, you see where the pieces were connected to the tree, the excess plastic. Now in this case I can take the option of no sending down this part, and the reason why is because later on it will be covered by another piece, so nobody will know if you send it down or not. It's not going to be visible, and you can look at your menu and see which pieces are going to be actually showing and not going to be showing, and you can decide to send down these pieces or not to send them down. In my case, I go to the trouble of sending it out since I like to know that my kits are well assembled, and same goes for this kits. For example, you see over here, this whole section will be covered by the armor, right? This section, but this section, for example, over here, it will not be covered, so I need to send them down. The same goes for the joints in the arms over here. They're going to be showing. This is going to be showing, so they need to be sent them down. And over here, for example, this is not going to be showing, not going to be showing. So you have the option of no send it, no use sanding paper. You can leave it like that and just paint it over and save yourself some time. But like I said, that's up to you to decide. So with that, we'll go to the next part. After your pieces have been sent down and you are ready for painting, you need to do something before that, and that is you need to wash all your parts, and I literally mean all of them. And for the parts that you actually glue it, and you need to use toothbrush. You can use, like this case, this use one already, and if you don't have one, and or you want to get one especially for that, get a good one that is soft, not the hard ones. Okay, so take all your pieces, use, like I always use, this kind of soap for your hand wash. You can also use soap for your dishes, or any other kind of soap that is not too strong. I don't recommend using detergents like Tide because they are too strong, so use something like this to wash it.